All right, let's talk about a player who is entering his second season, Aidan Hutchinson. You see him on the screen right here. I've broken down the whole play because I forgot what I was doing and accidentally made the graphic for the entire play, so I figured I would just leave that up. Why not? But really, we're just going to be talking about Hutchinson going up one-on-one against slot receiver Jawaan Taylor, which is a very funny thing that Chris Collinsworth said in the broadcast last night, as that was definitely an aspect. Listen, Chiefs were getting away with what they could get away with, right? That was clearly a mindset, and to some degree, that is championship football, right? Know what the refs aren't calling and take advantage of that. That's what Taylor's doing with playing so far back. But anyway, watch how when this play begins, you see how, because of kind of that, what we would see is a lot of Hutchinson making inside moves. And to some degree, I almost wonder if this was a bit of an intentional decision by Taylor to kind of allow Hutchinson to go to the inside a little bit more, because if you do generate a pressure there, Mahomes is so good at getting to the outside. That, or just Hutchinson's great at inside moves, because he is great at inside moves. Either way, you ideally want to block the player, and for Hutchinson, the way that he's going to get around this is with his right hand. You know, if you're going to making an inside move on a left tackle, it's going to be the left tackle's left hand that's important, but he can't really get it extended because Hutchinson has gotten so quickly in that area and now has his right hand on that left shoulder pad. So watch him push off and then just gets held. I mean, that's just what happened. Is he pushed off, made a great play, would have generated a pressure, but there was a hold there, an intentional hold to make sure you don't give a straight shot to Mahomes, protect the quarterback, and somehow they got away with it, and that wasn't called. I was shocked when I saw the play live and was shocked it wasn't called in real time, because I don't know why you wouldn't call that. That's an obvious hold. The ref just they must have just have to missed it. I don't know what they were looking at. Maybe I don't know, but they just missed that one. So good job by Hutchinson though to put himself in that situation. I thought this play was an interesting one. So, in many ways, this is an awesome play. Like, watch what Hutchinson's going to do. It's once again one-on-one against Jawaan Taylor. As you see, he's going to fake as though he's going to the outside, pulls off an inside spin move, and then another spin move. Taylor is on the ground at this point. This is domination by Hutchinson, or is it? Because now Mahomes has, outside leverage here. He's towards the outside. You don't have containment at this point, which is obviously not ideal, and it just kind of goes to show, I brought this up in my Mahomes video, why it's so difficult to play against Mahomes, because if you do something like this, it's how you can rush the passer. It can get you there quickly, but if you do, and you're a little bit out of position for a second, well, now Mahomes can potentially get towards the top of the screen. As you see, Mahomes has the speed to run by everyone, and he ends up picking up the first down right there. Hutchinson, it's weird because, to some degree, you could argue this is a negative. I saw people on Twitter saying, like, it's a bad play because he gave up containment, which, certainly you can make that argument for sure. Obviously, you don't want to give up containment. But the flip side is that if you never, do something like this, you're basically never going to generate a pressure on Mahomes. You're going to give him all day to throw, and that's not good either. A lot of times it might be worth it to still give up containment sometimes in the hopes that he just doesn't notice it immediately like he did on this play. The flip side, though, for Hutchinson is that we definitely saw him on the other way kind of impact how the Chiefs could run their play calls, right? Well, yes, Mahomes, impacts how you can rush the passer. Hutchinson impacts what kind of plays you can call, and this is a great example where, okay, you want to have a play action where you're going to have a tight end flash over. He's going to be the one who blocks Hutchinson. All right, sure. Makes sense. You see teams do this kind of thing all the time. Watch how you're going to see that when this play begins, I would even say this is, pretty good position. A lot of times when these things go poorly, it's usually because the tight end can't get over quick enough or the edge rusher reads the play so quickly. That's not really what's happening here. This is, it's a mismatch. It's a tight end on an edge rusher. You don't expect it to go perfectly, but, you expect him to be able to get in the way a little bit. But as you see, does he even slow Hutchinson down? I don't even know if he does. Hutchinson's able to get through, and then Mahomes does great work to throw the ball away on that one and not, make this problem worse. Again, that's something you're going to notice, is that despite all of these great plays from Hutchinson I'm showing, Mahomes he's Mahomes. He finds ways to have them not even necessarily not matter, but matter less, not turn into sacks, things like that. He's obviously one of, if not the best at that in the league. So, great stuff by him. But, a very important play to show, because not only did this work on this specific play, but when teams play Detroit in the future, they're going to start to say, okay, you know what, if we run those types of plays, probably can't have a tight end on Hutchinson. I mean, you have to either adjust the play or just flip it, do it on the other side, but then that makes it easier for someone like Aidan Hutchinson. There's now a more limited amount of plays that he's seeing, making it easier for him to predict what you're doing, and honestly makes it easier for the entire offense, the entire Lions defense to predict what the opposing offense is doing. There's so much value that a play like that has. There are things that maybe don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but definitely this is part of the impact that an elite edge rusher can have. And, I don't know if he's elite just yet, but he's certainly great, and he's certainly playing great. And I'm, watching him on the field, he looked like an elite edge rusher. Like the Chiefs treated him like an elite edge rusher for sure. This play's an interesting one too. It's not totally unique. We have seen the Lions do this in the past. This isn't like a totally new thing, but it still is fascinating. Hutchinson's on the inside here. This is something that they did last year. This isn't like a thing they only did for this game. It's just something they do, and it makes sense because on a 3rd down and 7, a lot of times these are the real pass rush downs, right? Because the quarterback gonna hold on to the ball for a little bit longer typically, because you have to get the first down. Can't just hit a check down quickly. I mean, you can. It's possible a check down can still result in a first down, but you know what I mean. You're less likely to do that, more likely to hold on to the ball. You know it's not a running play, so you can just purely rush the passer, and if it's a surprise run, you can just react to that. So because of that, a lot of what you do is what Kansas City is doing on this play to protect themselves. You see how they have a tight end and halfback lined up to Mahomes' right. They're helping out Jawan Taylor on this play, but because Hutchinson isn't the edge rusher, that doesn't matter as much. As you see when this play begins, I mean, he was able to pull off this move really well to get that, it's really a rip move underneath the right arm of the right guard, to the point where I actually think that there was a wrong call here by the referees. But, to me, that was a really good move by Hutchinson. Watch what happens at this point, though. Mahomes obviously in a tough spot. You see that Hutchinson's able to get through. He nearly gets to Mahomes. They ended up calling that a penalty, which, I thought was a great move by Hutchinson. I actually don't agree with that being a hold. To me, that was a rip move by Hutchinson. Maybe an offensive line expert in the comments below will explain that to me a little bit more. To me, that shouldn't be a penalty. You're allowed to, if, a rip move puts you in a position where you're now holding as an offensive lineman, you're allowed to continue to hold, because that's what the defensive lineman did to you. That's a legal play at this point. So a little surprised that got the holding call. But still, hey, put yourself in good situation. Good things can happen if you're Hutchinson. So, I personally thought that was still a very good play. This one's another one where, once again, working on the inside right here. So, okay, let's see what happens. Right when this play begins, you still see there's help. I mean, Taylor, stuck a hand out and kind of slowed Hutchinson down a little bit. Still, you see what Hutchinson's trying to do. I mean, watch him get around the guard, get to Mahomes, and again, of course, Mahomes still finding ways to get the ball out. He didn't get sacked on any of these plays because he's Mahomes, but it just goes to show the consistency Hutchinson was winning with, and how he was winning in different ways, doing unique things, and helping set up even more for Detroit. So it's one of those things where it's like, is he elite at this point? I don't know, but teams are treating him like he's elite. He's getting the #1 edge rusher, the star edge rusher treatment at this point, which is certainly, I think, exciting to see if you're a Lions fan, because even if he doesn't end up, being a 10-sack guy this season, like you hope he is, just that treatment alone is going to add a ton of value. I think he's also going to get a ton of sacks when he's not playing Patrick Mahomes as well. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.